Today I'm going to be ranking the first bosses of each Souls game amongst each other to see which one is truly the best. And without wasting any more of your time, let's get straight to the video. Okay, so at dead last we have the Phalanx from Demon Souls. Honestly, what the hell? You can tell FromSoft was definitely in there throwing shit at the wall trying to see what sticks phase, because there's no way they thought this boss, yes, these slimy pieces of doo-doo, would make a fantastic boss. Seriously, this has to be the most lamest enemy design in FromSoft history, and trust me, as much as they make some absolute bangers, they also have some terrible shit ones, like the monkeys from Sekiro. To be honest, I forgot what they're called because, let's be honest, they got no aura. Okay, I'm yapping way too much off topic. But yeah, the Phalanx is just mid as mid can get. Their moveset isn't even interesting. All they do is just poke at you and that's it. Now to make the fight easier than what it actually is, just get some flame grease or whatever the hell it's called in this game, or some fire bombs from this dirty ass looking bum, and you will delete its health bar in no time. But that's all I have to say about Phalanx, just a very mediocre first boss that doesn't even really teaches you anything. Speaking of mediocre first bosses, we have the Last Giant. The Last Giant literally has zero aura, like none at all. The design, while somewhat cool, is a bit bland at the same time. The arena looks boring as hell and it's just a cave. Okay, he's mid, but is he a bad first boss? And to that I have to say, no, because the Last Giant does his job pretty well to some extent. He's intimidating and yeah, that's it. I mean, he doesn't really teach the player anything really. Look man, I'm trying my best not to shit on this guy, but it's very hard. But yeah, as a first major boss encounter, he's just okay. Bro, while making this video, I literally forgot about the Asylum demon, so I had to place him here. The Asylum demon is one of the better tutorial bosses, as he teaches the player the basic core combat of the game and to pay attention to details. But that's pretty much it. All in all, it's a pretty okay fight. Here we have the Pursuer. Now I know what you might be thinking. Isn't the Last Giant technically the first boss of the game? Well, yes and no. Both Pursuer and the Giant can be encountered without you having to face the other. Now I do like the Pursuer a bit more than the Giant, as in my opinion, he teaches the player more about the game and how to react in combat situations. The most important thing he teaches you is how to time your dodges properly, and also that the game has very questionable hitboxes. Haha, another Dark Souls 2 hitbox joke. Look man, the jokes are a bit dead, but kinda deserved. But gameplay aside, I do like the Pursuer's design, and the fact that we can use the ballistas in the arena. Now going back to appearance, why the hell can't we use his armor? Like, what? Like, come on, out of every possible armor set in the game, they chose to forget the coolest looking one. Come on, that's a small but big miss in my opinion. But other than that, the Pursuer is a decent first boss. Now we have everyone's favorite chronic Gundyr, the Cleric beast. And oh look, he's a lefty. If I had a coin for every time a monster-like boss with an oversized left arm showed up to beat the shit out of me in a Souls game, I would have... Okay, you get the joke. The Cleric Beast is the first optional boss in Bloodborne, Father Gascoigne being the first mandatory. Now I still included the Cleric Beast because I'm gonna be honest, I just wanted more time on this video. Now Cleric Beast teaches the player how to deal with beast-like bosses and enemies. His attacks are wild and chaotic, but also predictable to some extent, as they usually have some sort of wind-up, so you better grab a bunch of Molotovs. Now in terms of appearance, he's dope and his arena looks really cool. Again, I just think that the Cleric Beast makes a really good fight, especially for a first boss. Next up we have Iudex Gundyr, who's definitely one of the absolute best first boss encounters FromSoft ever made. He's simple, but he also teaches you a lot. And if you're a first time player who's new to Souls, this guy will beat the absolute hell out of you. So for new players, he's kind of tough, which is insane to think about because pre-Dark Souls 3 and Bloodborne, the bosses were super easy and usually the first ones didn't have too much focus placed on them, hence why we had a sentient doo-doo and a caked up demon. But now they have more focus placed on them, especially with Iudex. He basically teaches the player the basics of the game, how to time your dodges properly, and how to be a bit more aggressive compared to the previous games. You see, from Demon Souls to Dark Souls 2, the bosses were very slow. I mean, most of the time you can just strafe around them and attack, and that's it. You win. But now, yeah, good luck with that. This dude is swinging his blade behind his ass and doing a 30-foot vertical jump just to kill you. And you can't forget about his second phase where the pus of man takes over and he turns into this monstrosity. Luckily, he's weak to fire, so if you chose the right class, you're pretty much good. But all that aside, Gundyr wasn't made to be hard. Sure, he's one of the more challenging first-time bosses, but he's not as hard as, let's say, Father Gascoigne or Gyoubu. But again, what he does best is teach the players how to get used to the controls and mechanics. because after fighting him, you're pretty much prepared for the rest of the game. Now here we have everyone's favorite homeless man, Margit. But isn't the tree sense?
Shut the fuck up.
A year or two ago, if you put a gun to the back of my head and asked me who's the best first Souls boss, I would immediately say Margit, due to recency bias. But now I've grown and matured and my opinions changed. And the reason being is not because I think Margit is a shit boss or anything, I just don't like fighting him compared to the other guys I've yet to mention. Usually I steamroll Margit pretty easily, but I still don't like how weird his moveset is. Sure, I've gotten used to them over the years, but it's just, I don't know, not that fun for me anymore. He has attacks that are definitely just there to punish rolls, and that shit pisses me off so badly. And because of that, I could not enjoy fighting this bum. He also has a bunch of delayed attacks and he just loves to spam his daggers. The only move where I could actually punish with is when he jumps into the air with his hammer. But I swear, if you try to attack with 2 consecutive hits, 9 times out of 10 he's gonna interrupt you. Okay, so obviously while I don't hate Margit, it might seem like I'm not the biggest fan, and you might be wondering why I placed him this high. You see, because while I might not be the biggest fan of his mechanics, I do like how he forces new players to explore and get stronger, because exploration is a must in this game. I know I was shocked back then when I learned you can get a somber weapon to +5 before reaching him. Now don't get it twisted, Morgott, not Margit, but the actual Morgott is an amazing fight. But yeah, despite my criticisms, I still do like Margit because 1, the whole encounter just feels cinematic, and 2, what he actually teaches the player as the first major boss. At second place we have Gyoubu Oniwa. He has one of the best entrances, and also I just like the fact that this screaming asshole is just on a huge horse. So hear me out. Technically there are more bosses that could be considered first in the game, but I'm talking about the first major like bosses. Sure, some of those guys weren't optional, but I'm gonna be honest, they just didn't have any aura. Like, let's be honest, do you want to sit here and hear me yap about this guy? I don't think so. I don't even remember his name because that's how irrelevant he is. So yeah, we're talking about Gyoubu. Now obviously what makes this guy good as a first boss is because he forces you to use the actual mechanics of the game to your advantage, especially when it comes on to deflection. Because sure, you might be able to cheese him, but it's gonna take a long ass time, so might as well just fight him fair and square. Now compared to a lot of these other guys, he gave me a decently hard time on my first playthrough because again, I genuinely sucked booty cheeks at this game at launch. But after a while it became fun, and honestly, that's about it. Again, what really bumps him up is the fact that he's in Sekiro. And look, I know I glaze this game a lot, but come on, the combat is just mwah, chef's kiss. Now we have the dude I couldn't wait to talk about all video. Father Gascoigne. Gascoigne is a very interesting first boss because to this day I'm still not very confident that I will take him on in one try. I mean, don't get me wrong, it's not like I'm ass or anything. It's not like I'm spending a long ass time fighting him, but he always kills me first try, mostly because of his monster form. Now as a first boss, he teaches the player how to deal with humanoid hunter enemies and beast-like enemies as well, since he turns into one. His moveset in his human form isn't super complex, but man, his beast form, I can't tell what's going on, because his speed and aggression increases by 100. To be honest, I can't tell you a straightforward strategy for this specific phase. Now in terms of everything else like presentation and design, Gascoigne gets a 10 from me. I mean, he looks cinematic, and he feels important. His encounter is fun, and yeah, that's why I placed him at first place.